That's what I was, yeah.
Every village
And
does
we're
it differently.
Good evening. I call the special board meeting to order on September 6, 2022 at 7 p.m. Clerk Larson, can you please do the roll call?
Trustee Dobrov,
Present.
Trustee Kirby, Trustee Lafredo,
Present.
Trustee Repa,
Present.
Supervisor Bauman.
Here.
We have a quorum. Also present is Clerk Larson.
Do we have any public comments tonight? I'll have to wait on that. Nope, no public comments. New business. Number 1, authorization to establish a revolving credit card with Home Depot. So the reason why this even came up was because there's going to be times where we may have to go out and buy extra screwdrivers or tools or a piece of wood or something like that. And because Anne Marie only works twice a week, it was her idea to get a credit card. And we could have a certain limit on it. I'm fine with that. It just means that if we need to go get something at the store on a Saturday afternoon because the project's in place and we have the money and it's all accounted for, I could go get it. I would be the only one that would have access to the credit card. So it's similar to the credit card that I have right now, which is a Visa, which I have a limited amount of money that I'm able to spend on. So the reason, again, we're having this meeting tonight is to give me access to the other amount of money. But this way, if we are short, I can run to Home Depot. And then we're able to pay the bills every month and things like that. So that is the reason why Anne Marie suggested that we.
Could we not write a check?
She writes for the most part. She writes the checks.
I mean, could you not write one?
I could, but this way it keeps it more controlled. I could write a check too, but this way, if it's on a credit card, we know what we know what it's for, and everything like that.
So this is not so much a question. This is more of a question of if we hit the limit with the Visa, we can go to the Home Depot, or
No, this way,
what
if we had Home Depot, it would just be a separate card because Visa right now is only being used for the dollar store, and that's where we pretty much hit our limit anyways, because I'm spending between $500 and $600 on the Visa. So this would just be with Home Depot specifically for this project, and then we could always cancel it after the project or continue it on if we find there's a need.
So you're looking to use this Home Depot card for only Home Depot in relation to this project, or general in the future?
That would be something for us to discuss, because either we could end it and kill it after this project, or we could keep it open.
Okay, and so the idea of doing the Home Depot versus another credit card, is there a specific savings that we're
We only
getting,
have one
or?
credit card, and I would be
Okay.
hitting that limit with.
So it's the limit
It's
concern.
it's the limit, and also just the convenience, and everything is on record. Anne Marie would be able to follow everything on Home Depot. We get extra discounts if we use a credit card rather than not, as long as we pay it back on time. They have special, coupons or whatever it is when you use it.
Okay, and then, so this would just be for smaller as need pops up,
Yes.
not the entire, okay.
No, because once we do approve of the $20,000 that's already in the budget line, I would already have that money, because Anne Marie, again, only works on Monday and Wednesday. It ties our hands if there is something that comes up and we need to purchase it.
That clarifies some things, okay, yeah.
That's pretty much what it is. And I said, you'd be the same way as everything else. You'd be getting the monthly bills, you'd be knowing where everything is coming from, it would correlate with the project and things like that. So that's something for us to discuss.
Could we not just authorize you to take money out of the operations budget and write a check at Home Depot for each purchase? I mean, we'd still have the transparency because you're writing a check with an itemized receipt.
If that's what your preference is.
I think, I love this project. My concern is just the optics of us having just dealt with the supervisor with credit card issues. And I'm not questioning your,
I agree with
I'm not
using
questioning
money.
your integrity.
I agree, sometimes people use money when they shouldn't be using money for under funds. So
I'm not questioning your integrity.
No.
I just think as a matter of policy, especially when local governments go out to do projects, they usually do things like bonds, or they take it out of operational budget, and then it's paid back, in this case, with the grant versus bond. What I would be cool with is just pre-authorizing you to spend up to $20,000 and you taking the checkbook
I mean,
to-
that's fine, that's
to
what
Home
we,
Depot, and then when you're at Home Depot buying stuff, they accept checks.
that's fine, because I do agree that people do use money inappropriately when they have the funds available.
Now, does the township also have a debit card? Because you could use a debit card
We
like a
we
check.
do, but as I said before, there's a limit, and I use that money
Gotcha.
towards the dollar store.
Could we-
Unless you guys want to up that limit, that would be the only way to use that debit card.
Gotcha.
Okay, so there's two parts to that I want to point out really quick, just for everybody's clarification. The first one's a clarifying question. This is a Home Depot charge account, not a card that is usable anywhere else. Is that correct?
Yes.
So it would be, for Home Depot, their mechanism is to use a credit card. For Ace Hardware, their mechanism is to use a terms-based account. So the point of setting up the credit card is to set up the equivalent of a terms-based account with Home Depot.
Will they guarantee a $20,000 limit?
We would have to talk to them. At one point, we were talking about putting the credit card together. I said the only advantage is there are discounts that we get with Home Depot, and it does track everything in receipts. So is every purchase, there's a receipt, it's on the computer, you can see exactly what was purchased, what item it was, as everything is right there, where a check, I'm just getting more of the receipt. It's not as tracked as well as the Home Depot.
Would they not give you an itemized receipt when you write the check, just like you go to the grocery store, they give you an itemized receipt?
They do, but I'm just saying it's a different system. It's a
Sure.
easier system for Anne Marie to be able to track everything, but that's fine because, I mean, we could always come back to this another time. I mean, if we have the money in the account, I'm good with that.
I think either way is generally fine as long as the receipts are kept and the records are kept and, there's oversight in terms of what's being bought.
Right. Because I think that's the biggest thing is when you can't trust people.
So as a process question, now that we've had an open discussion and it's on the agenda, could we, in theory, table it and now we're free to openly discuss this together without the OMA subject? So if we want to keep working on this? and-
No, so
No, it's
Open
an
Open
meeting.
Meetings
We don't
Act
have to.
requires no more than two trustees can speak about an item at any time.
Okay,
Any more than two trustees in the same room having discussion about any business, whether it's pending or current,
okay,
is a violation of the Open Meetings Act.
okay.
Yeah, the Information Act has nothing to do with this. It has
No, I
just
just
to do
meant,
with.
if we wanted to take time to think more about it and speak more freely, would that be a handicap to us? It sounds like it would be.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, you could talk to one other person, but
Right,
you cannot.
right.
Or we could wait until the September board meeting that's coming up.
From what I see going through here, it looks like we need to go ahead with this and start because it has to get done.
Now,
Yeah, and
This weekend,
with
right.
the way the weather can change around here, being in
Right.
construction, I've seen it. I got hit with a microburst 2 weeks ago.
yes, we are
So,
on our time schedule.
Getting it done seems more important right now. The money's already been allocated to it, okay? I mean, we allocated the money now and we're gonna get paid back.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm good to push this to a vote one way. If anybody else needs to have a discussion, let's do it, but
But don't we have to go over 2 and 3?
sure.
So I just want to, you're good with the credit card or?
No.
What are you good with?
The check.
That's
Check,
fine.
Yeah, because they can email you that same exact receipt that we'll
That's
get.
fine.
And then Beck can, if I understand that Anne Marie would like it to be easier for her, I get that.
Okay,
But I'm a check through and through guy
okay, that's fine.
with the email
I'll-
receipt and a paper receipt, and then we've got both.
So
of them
I will
receipt.
work on a system with Anne Marie that me and her can have in place.
It should be able to probably, the easiest way after that would be email. Could you just type in one email? Like, so it could either be yours or hers, and they'll email you your receipt.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about me writing the
Oh,
If
check.
I'm missing something, if we give you permission to write checks, couldn't you legally take the checkbook with you and just write a check then and there? Why does Anne Marie have to cut the check?
Okay, there's a financial policy behind that to protect the check stock, although
Gotcha,
Michelle
okay.
technically is the person who is,
I'm trying to make sure nobody
Responsible
spends
for
money
it?
in
Gotcha.
it without the permission of anybody else.
Okay.
but item number 3, this was the other clarifying point that I had. The question was the authorization to spend, and I know, Michelle, you brought this point up as well. That's also on the table tonight to extend that. And while this says with regards to the Home Depot credit card, there's no reason we couldn't use our regular bank card. It's not a debit card, it's a credit card. You get the same float benefit without it being a Home Depot branded card for that same purpose, for the purchase of things without needing the check. You can use that card. The limit that's imposed is based on the credit card policy, not the bank account.
Gotcha.
So I think that's important to note.
So that would be very similar to what we were talking about. Instead of her just physically writing a check, she could use the township card in place of the Home Depot card.
If we upped her spending.
We have my
We
spending.
have spending. Why do we think, if it's going to be used for just incidentals, why do we need to approve a limit of up to 20 grand?
Because sometimes, because that's how much the grant is worth. So within the next few weeks, I'm going to be spending $20,000.
Gotcha, so you'll be buying the raw material, the wood and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
So money's going to, I mean, it could be 500 today, it could be 6,000 the next week.
Do we know?
2 separate thresholds that are being discussed. The first one is the 20,000 overall threshold, which can be done with check and credit card. The second one is the credit card limit, which is a $500 per transaction and $1,000 per month limit.
Okay.
And that's the one that if there's incidentals would need to be adjusted for the purpose of this project.
Do we know what this is actually going to cost in wood and materials? Any estimates provided by Home Depot? I'm sorry, I'm Michael, by the way. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, Kevin will be presenting.
Okay.
I have a full list of materials here.
Not to jump the gun, do you mind if we look at them?
No, Kevin, how about you present? And then they could ask you questions.
Yeah, thank you.
And Kevin, wait, hold on. Thank you for being here, by the way, Kevin. And now this is for your mother. And for me.
All right. Well, you know what my project is. We're building the outdoor classroom. It's gonna be 35 by 20 feet and have a accessibility ramp in the back following the ADA guidelines. And also we will be building an 8-foot-high wall, which will have slats kind of, so that way it doesn't suffer from wind blows. And we'll also have some posts in front so we can mount a projector screen or a canopy for protect the rain. So that's kind of the overview. Here I have all of the different costs. So the frame alone costs $4,079. And then with Trex boards, which would last much longer than wood, that would be another $5,300 about. So overall, it's a little under $10,000 for the whole deck. And then we're also planning on running electricity down over to there, and that's gonna cost about $6,000. Which would, and a good amount of money will also be spent in just use or error if we break any boards, or if we need to buy screwdrivers or tools for different purposes. We also need to rent an auger and some other contracted utilities. So and hopefully we'll also be able to add a path and some flower beds. Do you have any questions?
Can I have a copy of the documents for the record?
I don't have a copy yet.
Can I make a copy at the end of the meeting?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have you considered power tool costs and hardware costs?
I have not, but I am sure that it won't be too high. We probably won't need too many of the power tools and those manually, because we have a good amount. We have two power saws, and we could probably get some from other people who I haven't asked.
Okay, you'll probably want at least, if you want, you'll probably want about 3 impact drivers, like Milwaukee 18 or thereabouts, okay?
Yeah.
Because that's what's gonna power, pushing in your, the screws for your,
You
your
also-
tech
We have
screws.
I have one, but
Yeah, okay.
You also have a, what's Mr. Nitto?
he's a carpenter.
Carpenter
contractor.
construction, yeah, and we also have an architect
Mhm.
that will be on hand.
Architects don't do work.
but they.
They don't have pools. So,
Kept
my
designing.
other, my other question to you is the electric. Do you have an electrical contractor picked out to give you a hand with that?
Yes.
Bassett.
Bassett Electrical.
That's it, okay.
Yeah, and Bassett, they were the best price that we got out. And they've also done the electricity in the garage before.
Oh,
So
good.
they're
So-
very, what?
They're familiar with
They're,
what they're
they're
getting
they're
into.
familiar
Yes.
with what they
Fantastic.
did, and they were about $1,500 cheaper.
So I'm truly, when it comes to building, an idiot. Are you do, like for electrical, do you just run a cord underground or how do you, oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's those two pipes there, and those run out to, I'm not sure exactly, but they run to electric contractors, I think. But they're gonna run another one out down there, and that's just gonna go a straight shot all the way down to where the outdoor plasterings gonna be. We'll have some electrical junction boxes along the way, I think.
And you got your permits from the village for building electric, which is that one, I believe, right?
Yeah, I
That
mean,
was
basically,
approved?
we have everything, and we'll confirm with Bassett Electrics, whatever we need, because we will not move forward without the right permits and home, and trust me, we know that. But the main thing is we wanted today was to be able to start the project, because like, we're talking to Chris, the electricity is the very last thing, we don't have to do that right now.
Where'd you get the idea for this project?
Michelle.
Nice.
So, she showed me a couple of designs that she had looked at, like Pinterest and stuff.
Nice.
And then there's a preliminary one from Home Depot, and we went back to Home Depot and talked to them. And then I talked to the architect and worked out the legal code issues and made sure it would be the right height and such that, and then we added the disability ramp that we were thinking.
And we've been working with Bob Kula on the project, along with Brian, and what's the new guy from Round Lake Park? And the mayor, they're all aware of it, and,
It would be Mr. Lucas.
okay.
Todd Lucas.
Tom Lucas, okay. So we,
He's standing in because the building assessor is indefinite.
and I said the advantage of having Bob Kula a part of this project is he knows what's going on, and he has resources, and he's given us some suggestions along the way of how to do the project.
Assuming the weather is ideal from when you start, how long do you anticipate it take?
I would hope we would finish by mid-October, but, you know, like I say, out of that, excellent. Hopefully, we finish it before then, but it's looking like we're gonna do foundations this weekend, and then the next weekend, we'll start on framing, and then the weekend after that, hopefully, finish framing and start on deck boards and the steps, and then the weekend after that, we take care of some other stuff. I haven't worked out past that.
But it will be done before December 1st,
It will.
yes.
Jeff,
Or it will be done before December 31st, all the spending will be done before December 31st.
Okay, is that what the contract said? Okay. Thank you for reading that, Kevin.
either supervisor, trustee Jeff or clerk Larson, how does it work with like insurance and liability? So everyone that we use is licensed, insured, bonded, but what about people that are volunteers? Is that part of the township insurance policy?
Yeah,
Okay,
because the township is the beneficiary of it.
okay.
Do we have a waiver for that?
I don't think we do. We could probably get one.
Okay.
Do we have any more questions for Kevin?
Thank you, by the way, for all of this. This is
Yeah.
incredible. Blueprints, the idea.
I'm semi-serious. So this is the Eagle Scout project for you?
Yes,
Awesome.
it is.
What's your favorite merit badge that you've done?
I think riflery,
Riflery.
it's just fun.
Yeah.
Though I don't get to shoot very often.
Yeah. It's a good one.
You planning on becoming a project manager?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about that, but that might come eventually,
Okay,
whatever I do.
nice. Let's take lots of pictures.
Yeah.
This is a big project. Typically, this is probably 4 to 5 times, if not a lot more, than the typical Eagle Scout does.
Mhm.
but he's taking on the challenge. When I asked him, he was 16, he's now just turned 17. This is a very big project, but I said he has support from the community, he has adults who are going to be able to use the tools. And
This is a big project.
this is a
Yeah, this is
very
great.
big project. When I first met with Home Depot, she did not make it sound that, like it's that big of a project.
They don't, they sell you on it. Watch your hands and wear gloves,
Yes.
okay?
That's probably gonna be it, larger expenses.
Is there gonna be like hard hats and like goggles too?
We probably won't need hard hats, but we want goggles for sawdust or anything.
Sure.
Yeah, if you're working with the concrete and pouring that, wear a dust mask.
We were going to get, what
I think
kind
we're
of,
gonna get a concrete mixer.
A concrete
Not
mixer?
bike.
If you open it and dump it in, the silicone in there, you get silicosis in your lungs, be careful, okay? This is what I do for them.
well, you're more than welcome to
As
volunteer.
I say, yeah, you
Wow.
wanna jump in and
Well, you can come.
Yes.
I would, but I'm in Albuquerque this weekend.
I'm afraid I would just get in the way. Or break something by accident. My luck.
You can always dig.
That's true, could dig.
Mm.
Kevin, I appreciate you coming out
Yes.
today.
Thank you.
And we look forward to celebrating at the outdoor classroom with you and doing and breaking ground and the red ribbon event that we're gonna have to figure out what to do. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
yes.
You're more than welcome to stay or go, Kevin, that's up to you. We're almost done.
Hey, you're the PM, man, you should stay, it's a meeting, it's important.
That's what I.
This is your baby.
Okay, so what number are we on now?
We were still on number 1. We had not
Okay.
dispositioned that item yet,
Authorized and established with volume, so we're gonna say,
so we can get a motion to table and move on.
okay, have a motion to table authorization to establish a revolving credit card with Home Depot until, what's our next board meeting? So October
September
13th.
13th.
13, 2022. Can I have a motion?
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? Roll call?
Trustee Dobrow,
Yes.
LaFreda,
Is this the table?
table.
Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Repa,
Yes.
Supervisor Bauman,
Aye.
table.
Okay, number 2, authorization to utilize 510-584 grant project funds not to exceed $20,000 for the outdoor educational classroom. Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Trustee Repa,
Aye.
Dobrow,
Aye.
LaFreda,
Aye.
Supervisor Bauman,
Aye.
motion carries.
Number 3, authorization allowing the supervisor to exceed the $500/$1,000 credit card transaction limits with regards to the Home Depot credit card for expenses related to the outdoor educational classroom. So we would be tabling this to them.
That's at the discretion of the board. You could choose to amend that and just authorize the supervisor to exceed credit card transaction limits for expenses related to the outdoor educational classroom and forego the Home Depot card
So we have to get rid
for
of
the next week
So we have to get rid of
until
the-
we discuss the Home Depot card, where you can change that around again in 7 days.
Is there an issue with, as Jeff was saying, just using the check, or do you need the credit card authorization?
I'm okay with the, I mean, if that's what you guys want to do right now, that's fine. I'll just have to work through, I said, work through Anne Marie on her process.
Just tell her I was a terrible person and I said no.
I will tell her.
Yes, have at it.
She'll watch it on video.
Yep, I'm a terrible person, I say no credit cards. All right.
Okay, so how are we writing number 3 then?
No.
Just failing it?
If we're saying there's a check, then we're just not going to call it.
Okay,
Yeah, use checks.
Withdrawn.
Yeah, in fact, if I understand correctly, we just authorized you to not exceed 20, so in theory, you could start purchasing stuff now with checks.
Mm-hmm.
right,
Correct.
I mean, I don't have the checks. Right,
So
they're
maybe-
locked up.
Maybe during like a day Anne Marie is here, You and her go to Home Depot, start purchasing
Well,
the,
I'm not gonna go with her.
okay.
I'm not paying, we're not
So,
paying her.
so
to-
the way this would probably be
I
best
would just
handled,
give me a check, you know?
Oh,
be-
got, okay,
Anne Marie would allocate a series of checks.
gotcha.
And
Okay.
then those check stubs would be returned so that
Okay.
there was an accounting for what that was.
It's the same way when I purchase stuff, because I make sure people
Right, right,
know
right, right, right.
where, how I'm spending my money, that there's always documentation.
The only difference is instead of it being a computer check up front, it's just a check that
Which is-
Michelle would sign on the spot or what have you.
How many checks probably like to start? 'Cause she works again this week, right?
Yeah,
And
I
you could
said,
probably draft 10 of them right off the bat.
yeah, I
Just
think
buying,
we'll figure out some kind of numbers, I mean, they're numbers, but just so that I am accountable for the checks. Right now, we keep the credit card locked up,
Mhm.
so I'd probably keep the checks locked up in the same place the credit card is, so nobody could have access to it, even if they wanted to.
Yeah, mister. No taking people out for lunch. All
We're really angry.
right.
Well, now to be fair though, a worker's gotta take a break. Pizza and, I mean, pie.
No,
That's out of your
no,
own
that's
pocket.
not, that's not how
Okay.
we, how
I
we
thought
do
this was
things
easy.
here.
Yeah, like I said, it's out of your own pocket.
I talked to the Eagle Scouts, I'm not, I forget the exact position, but she told me you be funded with food, not the company.
Mhm.
That all goes into other materials and stuff. But there will be pizza.
Thanks, but I'm good.
Okay. So do we have any public comments tonight? Members' remarks? Kevin, again, I'm so excited to have this opportunity to work with you. We've been through a lot of ups and downs over the last few months with this project. But we are on our way to having an outdoor classroom this weekend started, and that's amazing, because the impact that it's gonna be here when you're, I told you before, when you're like in your 20s, your 30s, it's gonna be here. It's gonna impact so many different community members, and so thank you for taking on this challenge.
Thank you.
Any other members' remarks?
You'll do good, Kevin. One step at a time.
It's a good
You'll
project.
One piece
Great
of
work.
wood cut at a time.
Measure twice, cut once, right? Yeah.
Michelle, thank you for bringing this to our attention. It's gonna look great out there.
It is. I'm so happy we got the permit side,
Mhm.
9/1, so we are good
Yeah.
to go. And, you know, maybe we'll have you come back in the middle of the project, you know, and tell everybody how it's going and things from there.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion, adjourn the meeting.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Hey, Kevin, that was it.
Thanks,
Thank you for
Kevin.
everything.
We are adjourned at
Now we have
7:28
to go
PM.
shopping.
Yep.
We have to go shopping.
Right?
Yep, before you leave,
Yeah.
copy that.
My scanner isn't working, so do I make Michelle a copy too?
I'll make lots of copies.
Thank you.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, Michelle. This
Cool project.
sure will look great.
I mean, like I said, it's great, especially the money, you know, it's from the real estate association, and I got the scholarship, or the grant, because I'm trying to build up the community. So we have another person who's gonna do a giant, chess board.
Really?
So, so it could be, you know, movable, but we could have it
Yeah.
on the outdoor classroom. I have other scouts that want to do different projects. Stay tuned.
Yeah, they'll be able to do it in the classroom instead of the parking lot over there to be able to do it.
Yeah,
That'll be pretty nice.
there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff coming, so.
Yeah.
Actually, it was not costing us a penny.
Yeah, best part.
That's the best part.
These just get pushed back there, or
Yeah, we'll get the rules back, put everything back.
do these go up there? All right, take it easy.
Have a good evening, everybody.
See you guys.
Yeah.
These go out there?
Yeah.
Yes, I always usually show up when it's all done.
What?
I show up and everything here is done. Oh, okay.
We volunteers to do this.
Yeah.
So now I have to go to Panera Bread at 9 o'clock and pick up leftover bread.
I know they used to let the bread hand out. Frozen bread.
Yeah.
And then they stopped doing that just because, you know, COVID's hit and then everybody stopped and then the people who did it don't go anymore. so.
Right, so the people who normally go, she can't go, because we get every Tuesday, we get deliveries, and then I give it here, and then I bring it to other local food pantries or the churches, depending on how, not churches, the senior centers, depending on
Yes.
how much we get.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's a little bit, sometimes it's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's Panera, I mean, it's the amount of money that,
It's nice, it's nice spread.
it's a nice spread. It's not like we don't mind, being one of those people. Awesome.
Okay. Thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm gonna scan it in, send it to everyone. Eek. We're still on.
All right, well,
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Kevin. I will take copy tomorrow, so we could,